Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebar2go.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we talk about the man who sold 1,700 bottles in the state of Kentucky. My name is McNew. My co-host, Steve Akeley, along with our special guest, Adam Stump, Ryan Thompson, and Tim Wyatt.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Nailed it.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. There was a hard pause in there for a second, but she got it back together.
Because I saw this early. I saw this at like noon today. I was like, I'm gonna go in and fix it because Steve just copy and paste, and I didn't go in and fix it.
No, you didn't fix it. No.
That's on me. That's
your fault. Yeah, I have to blame you. So
okay.
Yeah, very, very good. So, all right. Well, we've got an interesting show today. Some guy selling 1,700 bottles. I forget what the numbers you can actually sell in Kentucky in a year. It's like 24 or something. It's not many.
Well, yeah, it's like 20 or something like that legally.
He was slightly above that. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. And, yeah, it's interesting. It makes you certainly think, what are people actually buying here? That is securing a lot of special bottles that you can then sell. So it's very questionable, are these real or not? We'll talk about all that after the break and much more. Adam, you said there's something you want to talk about, though. What is that, sir?
Burning question in my mind. So you've heard the stories. You got loving whiskey and fighting whiskey and all these different kinds of whiskey, right? Have you guys ever had a whiskey that just has a tendency to invoke some sort of emotion or something like that? Because I've had something happen recently that is just absolutely off the wall. So I can't be the only one that's had a particular whiskey do something.
You're talking about to you or
drinking whiskey in their teenage years has a connection to a certain flavor of a bottle that carries with them throughout their life. And I'm certainly one of those. And then have a connection with a bottle from about 12 to 15 years ago. So yes, absolutely. I'm with you on that.
I'm with you on this because I used to think that drinking something lower proof, I would have a better night. If I were at a party, I could go longer. No, I just drink more of it faster, got drunker faster, and got in more arguments. So like Jim Beam White Label, I was like, I'll just bring this. It's basic. It's fine. I pour it in some Coke. I had worse nights with that than something like 120 proof.
That's funny. That's fighting whiskey.
Yeah.
Fighting whiskey, yes.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure the angle of the question. Is it things like you're saying, like make people want to get in a fight, or is it just evokes emotion with people? If it's just evokes emotion, I think Blanton's is the answer. I just, people get so passionate about it, and there's people that'll come in and say that's the best whiskey in the world, and it's not. I'm sorry, there's no parameter where Blanton's is the best whiskey in the world. It is not the best whiskey in the world. I'm sorry, it's not. There's even if even if you like blends, which I don't dislike blends, I just don't think it's the best whiskey in the world. So yeah. So I think we can find things better than that. And ultimately, we need to do like a legit blind tasting of things with similar proof and see what they are. So we did it one time at the shop, but everything, it was like, that's 93. And then everything else that we have is like 110, 115, 125. Well, shit, just pick it up by the proof. That makes it pretty easy. So a couple of the Blanton's lovers just picked up by the proof. But I'd like to see it in a legitimate thing, putting it against some pretty pedestrian things like Benchmark. Let's see how it does against something like that. And
it does against Ancient Age.
If that's 93, Larceny's 92. You could
there you go. Even throw that in.
Yellowstone at 93.
Yeah, Yellowstone. Yeah.
Do you guys have any connection with like your first whiskey you tasted as a youngin, whatever age that was? Do you guys still have a mental connection to that at all?
My first whiskey was Bud Light.
Bud Light was your first whiskey.
Wild Turkey. I have no hate for Wild Turkey. I think that was like my first whiskey, like the 101. Still a classic.
Okay.
Mine's still Maker's Mark.
Well, mine was Beam.
Started with Maker's Mark and always has a special place.
Okay.
Right. Why?
I fell in love with the wheat-based recipe. And the sweeter whiskey, just the experience on that one at the time. Now I drink it now. There's definitely something different. There's not really something different with the recipe. There's definitely something with, I don't want to say quality control, but there's something there where there's some off-profile stuff that I'm getting on that one now. So I don't usually drink anymore outside of Private Select or Cask Strength now. You know, I'm not a billionaire. I'm a millionaire now, so I get the Cask Strength.
Coming to Colorado, buddy. It was the flavor that you fell in love with. It wasn't like an emotional connection you had with it, huh?
It was the first cocktail that I got handed me with whiskey because I was a snob drinking vodka gimlets thinking I was cool in 2002. And then a bartender sent me over an old fashioned with Maker's Mark, and I haven't turned back since.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Are you cool now or no?
Is he? That's up for debate, but yeah. Yeah, for me, my parents drank Jim Beam, and and they did bourbon slushes and just cocktails with it and stuff, eggnog. But it was always 80 proof, which made sense for the recipes they were making, and that's when I started drinking bourbon. That's what I drank. I would buy bottles of Beam. That's what I wanted. So yeah, I got to go through. I've got a whole tote of photos. So this is. Stuff from when we used to print photos, and I got to go through those because I got some old college ones where me with Beam bottles and stuff like that at parties and things. I gotta spend the time and go through this. A lot of photos, just randomly thrown together. It's not in any sort of order, but I got to spend the time and pick out some of those old Beam photos because I think they'd be fun. So yeah,
that would
skinny college age Steve drinking Beam. So people, I think
the skinny photos. So today I got a photo sent to me from like my high school ex-boyfriend. It was a prom photo, and I was like, oh my god, it's so random. And I'm like, I was so skinny and so tan. Like, what happened? Like, it's so weird to see the photos when you were like a smaller person.
Right.
Does this person follow you on social media, McNew?
Recently, because I just moved to the town that he lives in, and I don't know how we figured that out.
Whoa! I'll tell you that reach out was not random.
No, it was not, but it was random for me because I have zero interest. But like, he sends me this photo. He's like, I was cleaning out a closet today and found this photo, and it was a prom photo.
Sure, did.
Oh my god!
I just happened to be going through and found this. Check this out.
Oh yeah!
Look at this! Look at this! Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look, she's so little and too tan. No wonder my pants are cut out of me. God damn, stay out of the tanning beds.
Well, tan, very tan. Yeah. So very, very good. So fun stuff, and yes. So there you go.
Well, Adam, what happened to you with this bottle?
I've learned something from this podcast already. Number one is that I am as terrible of a communicator as what my wife says I am, because that conversation went in a totally different direction than what I had intended to do.
See, there you go.
However, I have a great follow-up story that has to deal with this bourbon I'm going to drink on this episode to see if there is indeed a trend here. So I don't dream. When I go to sleep, I die. Like,
really?
That's it. It's gone. No dreams, no nothing. I go to sleep, I wake up.
Never dream?
Not really. No, just gone. So, like I toss and turn at night, but like generally not dreams that are like super vivid that I can recall. So we had this bourbon we did at the distillery. It was a barrel proof, super low barrel proof. It came out at like right at 100 proof, but it was finished in a PX sherry barrel.
Okay.
So whatever, have a cocktail one night. Laura made a double, some kind of twist on an old fashioned or whatever, and drank it. And it's I mean, middle of the night. I'm gonna try to hold it together during this story. Like 3 a.m. middle of the night.
Okay.
And I am having this dream. I'm at my parents' house, and there's a subdivision next to their house, field in between. There's coyotes. These coyotes run from the field in between the subdivision across the road into this other field. And I'm like looking for a gun, and I'm laying across my desk, like out this dormer, looking for this gun and trying to get these coyotes to stop, because obviously we don't want coyotes around.
Sure.
So how do you get coyotes to stop? You howl at them, obviously. How else would you get them to stop? So I'm like trying to call these coyotes from my childhood bedroom window, and I couldn't get a howl to come out, like just muffled, just couldn't get it. And man, all of a sudden I get one to light, and it was the greatest howl in the history of howls. Then all of a sudden I get punched in the side. Laura thinks that the fire alarm is going on. I am howling in bed.
This is expression.
Very similar. And come to find out, I was like, you know what? So like, I'm like she said, I was like, I mean, my head was lifted off my pillow. I must have been like laying on my stomach, and she's just totally freaked out. The reason I couldn't get the howls to light in the first place, my head must have been just buried in the pillow.
Okay, just going into the pillow. Yeah.
So, I mean, we get done with this thing. We finally piece it all together, right? It's the middle of the night. We don't know what the hell's going on. I sat there and I probably cry laughed for 20 minutes straight. It was bad. Well, turns out, I have a cocktail a few nights later, and I don't remember what the dream was, but she said I was talking in my sleep. And then Lauren, girl who works for us in the tasting room, she had a sherry cocktail, and she said that she woke up and she was like kung fu fighting in her sleep, like straight up karate chopping. So I think there's a chance we might be onto something here. We might have a little hallucinogenic, bourbon finish situation. I don't know.
We'll see. Set aside a few of those bottles if you have any left.
Right. I want to have some of those dreams. Yeah.
No, I'm down.
I'm in on that.
Yeah. Get a good workout while you're sleeping. You're karate chopping and stuff. So yeah.
You punch in the air.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So there you go. On that note, guess what, gang? It's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? I'll go first. I've got a special one here. This is from Old Monroe. Of course, back in the days when it was called Stumpy. This is maybe one of the all-time great barrel picks, isn't it, Adam?
Oh, yeah,
right.
Great whiskey for sure.
Yeah, the 119.6, amazing whiskey. I just had this set on a table over here in my studio, and it had been here a long time. I had a bunch of dust on it. I wiped that off, and I'm going to pop it open here for the first time. So let's see what we got here. Solid.
Wow.
Solid. Nice, crisp. Yeah, that was good. We'll see how it goes. I think that could be enough, but we'll see. We'll see. Ryan's saying just so. Let's have Ryan go next. Beat it, Ryan.
Yeah, I like the challenge. You know, I'm not going to beat it. That's for damn sure. But I got a little Westward single malt whiskey tonight.
Okay.
Something like that. Here we go. Swat it.
No, not enough. No.
We heard it, though.
It was
We did hear it. There was something there.
It.
Oh, the wind's picking up again. Here we go again. Crazy. All right, McNew.
I have some Green River bourbon.
Green River. No.
Cute.
No.
It was
Cute. It was cute here. So, all right, Adam, you're next.
I have got some Old Monroe PX Sherry finished bourbon.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, boy.
The Fever Dream pick.
Oh, there's a pour.
Nothing.
It's got a pour spout. So yeah, you have those in your house.
Do you see this?
Did you steal that from the distillery? Because it's yeah.
No,
Where
it was
else would it
lawfully
come from?
removed.
Cocktail bar.
X paid. Jesus, Steve.
Jesus. Huh, I have to check into that one. I don't know what's going on there. All right, Tim, your last but not least. What do you
I got a
got?
bottle of Glens Creek Distilling Millville Malt.
Okay, Glens Creek.
That's why I'm set.
Nothing there. Nothing at all.
Nothing. Very basic on this side.
Oh, Basie. I win, so cheers to me.
Cheers, Steve.
Oh, man. I haven't had that rye. It's been a couple years since I've had that one, so that's nice to save a bottle. And I'll crack it open here with Adam, and he doesn't get to drink any of it. It's even better. So, yeah, he gets to see it and remember it, but
he's only 20 miles away or whatever it is, right?
He'll come
over about
it's close, but yeah.
That was the one batch we made that was like, that was the batch that made us decide that's going to be our rye recipe going forward.
Yeah. Makes sense, man. That's very cool. All right. Cheers to me. Cheers to me for a big win. Cheers. Well, bonus cheers there. All right. What we'll do next, we'll take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be talking about this 1,700 bottles sold in the state of Kentucky by the same person in a year. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of Executive Bourbon Steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your Executive Bourbon Steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your Executive Bourbon Steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com. And now, back to the show.
I'm Ryan Thompson, and I am a billionaire, and KK will get none of my whiskey, and I enjoy my single malt scotch. You're listening to the Bourbon Daily. Pendleton, where's my caviar?
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about a man who sold 1,700 bottles of bourbon in the state of Kentucky.
Yes, we are. So I'm looking at the article now, and the Kentucky statute allows you to 24 bottles sold in a 12-month period.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he can do this.
I wish we had KK because she's like a good reader. I'm not going to read it as well as she would. But.
Yeah, KK could summarize this for us. But he basically sold 1,700 bottles of whiskey in Lexington, Kentucky at a liquor store called Bourbon Creek. In Fayette Mall, which I don't know what that means, but if you're from Lexington, it probably makes complete sense. So
he owned the liquor store, Akeley?
No, he was selling it to them. So in Kentucky, you can buy bottles, so they have a stipulation. If it's not in current distribution, you can buy it, or, it's a special, like a single barrel or something like that, you can buy it. And
vintage distilled spirits is the legal term.
Yeah. So the guy was charged with 25 misdemeanor criminal counts of unlicensed manufacture, sale, storage, purchase, transport of alcohol beverages from October 6th, 2023 to February 29th, 2024. So, so
2.5 years.
Yeah, amazing.
And 6. What were the dates exactly again?
October 6th, 2023 to February 29th, 2024. So
6 months, eh?
Yeah.
6 months, 1,377 bottles.
Shit, you need a job? He's got better sales than I do.
Yeah.
No.
So, and of course, I would assume the liquor store's in trouble here too, because if he did it at a bunch of different liquor stores, the liquor stores wouldn't be in any trouble. They can buy liquor; they're allowed to do that. But I mean, there was occasions when he was selling up to 330 bottles at a time. When again, the limit is 24. So.
I have questions for more than this man. Like, I mean, he's wrong, but like, respect the hustle. But like, this liquor store, you have a liquor license. You knew what you went through to get that. Why the fuck are you buying bottles from this random person?
Because he's desperate to make sales and he needs to make rent and payroll, etc. People do desperate things in desperate times. That's why, McNew.
That makes sense, but I just really do have more questions for the liquor store.
And it's all, special stuff like Blanton's or Pappy and all that kind of stuff, the stuff people want.
So the liquor store owner wanted to be like, I got some Blanton's in the back. That's what he wanted.
Right. Do we think, and again, this is all speculation. We're not tied to the case. We have no inside information. So we're just talking. We're just a group talking here. So we don't want to put ourselves in the middle of a legal situation. The guy's presumed innocent until he has a trial by his peers. So we'll just say that up front. But we're just talking about the scenarios here. Do we think he honestly could have acquired this? And again, in 6 months, that much Blanton's and Pappy and all that, or is this counterfeit?
I was looking into this, Steve. So the misdemeanor charges are from that 6 months where they've calculated about 1,377 bottles during about 20 different occasions during that time frame, but they believe it's been going on for about 2.5 years.
Okay.
So he probably was doing it for a while, then all of a sudden, during that time frame, liquor sales started falling back. Maybe or coming back more towards the mean. Maybe there's more opportunity to get some of the stuff that he was doing, and then that's why he went, all in, and there you go.
Yeah.
So you said misdemeanors. He doesn't have felony charges. We just have
25 misdemeanor.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Manufacture, sales, storage, purchase, or transport of beverage. They're throwing everything at him.
Right. He's obviously not going to go to prison. He's going to pay some fines and have a good life. He's going to be fine.
Maybe. I mean, they've stacked charges. 25 is a lot, so I have no idea what they'll end up doing with him. He's not going to prison for the rest of his life by any means. But he may have to do a little time. We'll see. Who knows?
I can tell you. I mean, you go through different shops like that because that is a Kentucky law. I mean, you've got Brad Bonds over at Revival. I've phone called him for some appraisals on some things, trying to get some idea what the market is, because you got people coming. How can you sell this whiskey? And it's a dangerous game. Dangerous game.
Right. And this could only be touch his legal problems, too. Let's not forget, did he put the sales on his taxes? I'm sure that the next step will be turn it over to the IRS and say, okay, if he's convicted of selling these bottles, and here's the information we have. IRS, did he put this on his taxes? Did he pay the appropriate tax? And if you didn't, then you might get in some trouble with the IRS. And we all know how that goes. The IRS... how much do you owe them? Well, what they tell you owe them, and how do you get out of that? You don't. You're
not getting political here, but is the ATF? Didn't the ATF, when the whole thing happened with the other the vintage bottle place,
Justin's House of Bourbon?
Yeah. Wasn't that ATF that was involved in that?
Yes, because they were transporting over state lines. They had a distribution center in D.C.
Okay, it was over state lines.
They were trucking it over there.
The feds got involved, yeah.
Not to be political, does the ATF even still exist?
Well, that was my question. I was like, if I know there was some uncertainty about the ATF, so you mentioned the IRS, but the ATF, well, at least the TTB is a division of the IRS. So I don't know if the ATF is as well. So if
ATF, FBI,
how the hell does that work? Nobody knows. I guess
nobody knows, and we're not going to try to be
Nope.
lawyers and legal advice here. We're just talking,
like,
barroom talk.
That amount of bottles is insane to me. Like, where was he acquiring?
Right. These are the sort of questions I'd be asking. I'd be like, okay, you're in some trouble here, and tell us how you got these. Did you pay people to sit in line, or you have connections because you've got a lot of things and you're buying this for retail? Tell us how this happened, and how we treated him as the police or the Kentucky liquor control would be on how he's handling those things. Is he being upfront? Is he telling you what he knows, or is he being elusive and not telling you?
I'm just because that's a massive amount of bottles.
It is. It's huge.
Huge amount of bottles, and the selling it part, none of my business. But like, where did you acquire these? Where did you get because that's
think about this. If I said to you, hey, I've got a little scam here, Adam Stumpf or Ryan Thompson or Tim Swyatt or McNew, I need you to get as many bottles of Blanton's and Pappy as you can together, and we'll go. I got this place in Lexington, I could sell it. Do you think you could really come up with 1,300 plus?
No,
I don't think so either. So how's he getting
It's not worth it.
Like, for a reasonable price, I can maybe find you 5.
Right.
I mean,
right.
What are you doing?
Well, if you figure there's 6. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, a couple years ago, I was at a tasting in Beaver Creek.
There you go.
And the guy came up to me, and then he was tasting our stuff, and we had a good chat. And he's like, "No, my neighbor is it's not basically the Van Winkle family." And I'm like, "Oh, well, you probably have a couple of things in your liquor cabinet." He's like, "Yeah, I got whatever I want down there." And I'm like, "So it wasn't something like that, I guess, some unique situation where he might be a neighbor of the Van Winkles or somebody else or whatever." But overall, there's 99.9% chance now.
Right.
Exactly. Well, if you do the math here, so they're in that 6-month time frame or so, they're saying he sold 1,377 bottles. You divide that by 6 for 6 bottles in a case, you get 229 and a half cases.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And that's about 2.5 pallets. Adam,
you guys would know what that's like.
Right? So
I'm not trying to like support a criminal, but like the hustle though, like the way that he
I appreciate it.
Like, I have nothing but respect for that. Like, he did what he had to do when he figured that shit out. Good for him. Like,
good for him if he was doing it legitimately, acquiring the legitimate bottles. If he was just buying empties and refilling them, that's just criminal.
Did it say what the brands were?
No,
it doesn't.
They just said coveted. What did they say here? Something about cases of rare coveted bottles that sell for hundreds of dollars to whiskey collectors and bourbon tourists. So you would assume it's the usual suspects.
The Old Monroe is basically mostly it was Old Monroe.
It's mostly Old Monroe and 10th Mountain, I would think.
Yeah.
Maybe some Deer Hammer in there. I don't know.
Right.
Good chance.
Yeah.
But it's all Kentucky Alcohol Beverage Control, so it's all intrastate.
Yeah.
Which keeps it all inside the Commonwealth versus interstate, which brings it other organizations.
Brings the feds.
This is someone that like flew a little too close to the sun. Like, he might have had a good thing going if he kept it low key. And then he's like, "Oh, it's so good, I'm going to expand it." And then he fucked himself over because he made a reputation for himself.
So he moved. What do they say here? 330 bottles on 5 occasions in January and February 2024. That's 55 cases.
Yeah.
330 divided by 6.
At that point,
55 cases of whiskey.
He was getting lazy. If you're bringing in 55, again, there's a way to do it. You spread the wealth because you can legally sell bottles. And who's going to put that together? If you go rather than go into one liquor store, you go to 11 with 5 cases. You're probably flying under the radar. No one's thinking twice about it. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess the article probably doesn't say either what tipped off the investigation, right?
It really didn't.
No.
I mean, so you would have to think that, like, generally things like that don't just it doesn't just somebody doesn't stumble upon it. Somebody sees something that should be on a bottle that isn't there, or something like that. So it's
or it could be an employee. You think about a liquor store doing that. An employee sees it at some point and be like, "Hey, he's not supposed to be selling that much." And usually it's when someone's disgruntled. They're pissed off at the boss and something didn't go their way. They turn them in.
They're making
whistleblower.
$12 an hour and they don't give a fuck. Yeah,
right.
Or you've got people in Facebook groups saying, "Hey, where can I get this?" And then somebody's directed them to the one liquor store. And then prying eyes who are filling roles for multiple different organizations may be looking at that and surveillancing that. And there you go. Why does this liquor store always have this brand in stock? How is that happening? This is out of the ordinary.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of different things.
A lot of different opportunities if you get loose lips.
He might have had like a good thing going and then like got an ego, got his head too big, flew too close to the sun and fucked himself.
Yeah, when you make the first sale and it goes right, and then you're like, you're probably worried for the first couple of weeks. Is this going to be a problem? And when it's not, then you start getting emboldened. And then you do the second transaction, nothing happens. And all of a sudden you feel pretty good. Nothing's going to happen to me. Right? Yeah.
I'm going to learn the hard way. It's okay. But
I mean, what is like some of that stuff? I mean, hell, he could have been doing $500 a case, maybe, times how many cases a month?
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty good money. There's no doubt about it. It's good money.
Whew.
Yeah.
So just as for folks know, under Kentucky statute, only 24 bottles can be sold in any 12-month period. And I would say that's mostly for Kentucky Commonwealth residents only. You start bringing liquor across state lines, you run into sell into Kentucky, you run into potential issues there. I'm not a legal attorney in providing any legal advice whatsoever, but make sure you know your statutes before you get involved.
Yeah.
Thank God you made that disclosure, because everyone for a second there thought you were a legal advisor.
Right.
So thank God you fucking made that disclosure.
But well, that's what people don't understand. When you're crossing the lines with alcohol, they want any state that's involved wants their little piece of it. So
correct.
So. And that's usually 24 is usually a good number to remember. You want to be less than that. I mean, I don't know what, again, you got to check the individual state laws, but 24 seems to be an amount you're usually safe with. But even someone who's buying, like I'm buying, a half barrel for my buddies and stuff like that for my bourbon club. When you're driving across state lines, it's fine as long as you don't get pulled over. You get pulled over and they're like, why do you have 12, 15 cases here?
Well, that goes a redneck rule of only break one law at a time. If you're hauling, don't be speeding.
Redneck law.
Common sense.
Break one law at a time. Yeah, that's good.
Break one law at a time.
That's that. If you learn nothing else but that from this podcast, that's what your takeaway is. So,
if you're calling illegal shit, obey the traffic laws that you don't respect on a regular basis.
Yeah. Don't be like, I need to hurry up and get this home to the Bourbon Group. It'll be like, it'll be home when it's home.
Take my time.
Right.
As your friend that day, don't break more than one law at a time.
But don't go too slow, because you get arrested for that too.
Well, but you got to go the speed limit, but not over it. That's where the cruise control is where is your friend at that point.
Right. Fair enough. All right. On that note, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Tim, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at SwyGuy2112 and on YouTube at our flagship whiskey.
All right, Ryan.
Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey, and our website's 10thwhiskey.com. That's 10th whiskey with an E.
All right. Adam.
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Old Monroe Distilling Co. and drinkoldmonroe.com.
All right, McNew.
I'm on Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We've also got a company website. That thing's abvnetwork.com. Check it out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us. The ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. We're online, abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
Great job today, gang. Fartins, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye. See you guys.
Later.
See you, everyone.
Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.